First, I want to show you something. And then I would like to sit a little bit short down with you, with my cupboard behind me, and tell you something in German, and maybe one can translate it. Bothmer did have some exercises with his classes, and they gave it in Essen and Hamburg, and in July as well in London. And they went there over the channel. And it's the 22th of July. He wrote in, he said in German, I just first read it in German, unsere Kanalüberfahrt war unerhört schön. Das Meer war bei der Abfahrt von Ostende bewegt. Eine Stunde lang uferlos war und die Bläue, also Unterbrechung, ne? Eine Stunde war es uferlos und die Bläue ließen mich aus tiefstem Herzen aufjubeln. Ich fühlte mich getaucht in die Elemente des Gymnastischen, Rhythmus, Kraft und Weite. Our journey over the channel was more or less very, very beautiful. The sea was, when we got off from Ostende, a little bit moved, yeah, and then it really got silent, really flat, like a mirror. The white was once 1 hour was endless, without any edge. And the blue from this sea, together with this endless sea, leads me, got me from the deepest heart to jubilee. I don't know.
Jubilation.
Jubilation, yeah. And I felt like dived in the elements of the gymnastic: rhythm, power, and wise. And maybe you know this part of Steiner, where he told us from the 3 parts of the man. The head, yeah, this part. The Rumpf, yeah. And then, and that's the pretty thing I want to work with you today, the will, or the Extremitäten, Glieder, yeah. They come from outside in. So the middle point of our arms and legs is the periphery. Yeah, and that's something I would like to look for and practice with you with 2 gymnastic exercises, with what you call the extending wide, the extending high and extending wide. Yeah, together with these 3 circles, it's the 3 Jessica. Miss Jessica tells it the 3 exercises of circle, yeah, or something like that. And the last days with Katie, we practice a lot these 3 circles. And one question is, and maybe you look for this, one question is, where are the 3 circles? Yeah, this is one question I live with. In reality, the 3 circles in movement, where are they? Yeah, this is one question for another time, and I want to come back to the beginning, because these 3 exercises begin with the extending high. And Count Bothmer didn't tell it extending high. I learned it from Alhaides in the Bothmer gym classes as this extending high, extending wise. But then there was another word I got from Bothmer, and that's with Casey and Helena. I worked on it, this word. It's something like warped, yeah? or compressed or stuck, something like that. It's a complete else thinking of this movement. And this I want to try to see. Yeah, I want to try to tell you two things with this. You know, you have this frontal here, you see? And with the extending high, you now go down. You take this frontal line more or less from the high and you take it down. I don't do the whole exercise. You take it down, 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 down until you, I have to look that you can see me, until you get there to the end point. And this is an end point. And you have to open. And this is an end point. You stuck 2 times. Yeah. And you know this exercise all. But really to stuck, not to get on. And there Bothmer says it needs an own Entscheidung, an own, yeah.
Sorry, decision.
Decision, yeah, decision. Thank you. So it needs really a decision to come out from this way where you're stuck. It's like, yeah, this is like a yoch, Bothmer tells. You know, if the Chinese who had to carry a lot stuff, or if the animals in ancient times, these rinder, yeah, they had to carry, they had this yoch. And this part is really like an animal, if you get down and you have to carry all the world. And the normal way we now feel in the world, if the people walk, they normally walk this, not that. Yeah. And my shoulder a little bit back. We don't have this really great aufrechte, this really great straightness. Yeah. Upright, yeah. And in Africa, in Tanzania, in Zanzibar, I saw women having these big mass onside the head. And they had a really great upright because they got this in a natural way. And they walked with maybe 50 kilo on their head.
Look at Anita's, Anita's showing us a painting.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. So back to you, Jan.
That's the way the normal we have. And these both exercises has these 2 parts. This one takes this direction. The other one takes at the end, takes the same direction, but from the wide. Yeah. And now I told you quite something, and I would like now to do it 3 times every exercise, and then to get in a dialogue, and then work and work and work for the whole time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this words were preparation and these pictures, and now I would like to go in the exercise itself. Do you have any question for that?
Which exercise would you like us to start with?
Like Jessica and Bothmer told, the first warped high.
Okay, so what we would call the eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't think the eagle, but please think something like warped or compressed high.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Perhaps, Casey, you can now unmute them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so everyone's unmuted now. So
because now I would like to get in a dialogue together with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's unmuted.
This part goes down. Okay, and this, the other way, got the same as the next, but then we are free. But I don't know whether you got the difference. From one, I got here, and I opened it, got free, and the other one, the second exercise, I took this and made it myself to go this, like for the animal, and then I got to something like a freedom in it. Yeah. So there is a development from one exercise to the next. And that's really interesting for me. Yeah. But this is one part of this development and what you can get from the quality of space and movement. And I would ask you to what did you get from these exercises, from the quality of space, from the quality of movement?
Yeah, and can I just check, see if I've understood you correctly? I'm really curious about what it is you're saying. So you said that when you're in this position in the in this one, when you're here.
So Kevin, I'm just going to unspotlight Jan so that we can see you. There you go.
Okay.
So
yeah,
start again.
Thanks, Jan. This is great. I'm really enjoying it. So when you said that when you got to this position in the eagle or the distorted height, yeah, when you got here, it's like a stuck position. And then, but then when you come to that same position in the this one, the distorted width, it's a free position. So are you saying that the same physical place of the body goes from being a stuck place to a free place? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but not really free place, but this way of getting stuck, you go through. It's another feeling. It's just a small step. But this small step, I think it's really, really necessary to feel and to get the point of the quality of movement and space, because you change yourself in one exercise to another. Yeah.
Nice. I understand. I really like that.
And this is for that's a reason why I tried to with Helena and Casey to think about the words, how we tell the name of it, because this eagle, yeah, and the lion, it's an animal, but if you say a warped high, yeah, warped high and warped wide, yeah, it's really hard, and you have something you get through, you want to through. And that's so great with this, and that's very hard. In your training, I think maybe it's the same. If you get to this point, yeah, can you see it? Yeah. Yeah, this point here, it's really hard. How often did you something like that? Yeah. So there was no high, because yeah, you didn't go like this, but that or something like that, or yeah. You don't feel it yourself, but you see it with a partner, and that's where you can go in, really to go through and to get the high again, to get this part, this relationship to heaven, yeah, to this eternity. You see. To get this relationship again, and then you can really imagine and transform it. If you don't have the relationship to heaven, to your periphery, to the nature of your limbs, I think it is, yeah?
Limbs.
Huh?
Limbs.
Limbs?
Limbs.
Limbs, okay, limbs, yeah. Then the nature of them, are in the periphery. They stuck in me. And normally we practice like that. Yeah. In normal gymnastic, this is finished here. And you know, you can think it. But really to do it with it. And to get to this periphery every time and to use it, that's this hard training I spoke the last days about with some people after our exercise. Yeah, and that's the way I try to develop the movements now for over 30 years and practice with this. And to get small steps ahead, small steps. And then these two exercises were really hard for me in the Bothmer training 35 years ago. And then the last days, I worked a lot of them for them. And then I got in a new relationship through the English words as well. Yeah, because you can now think it and you can feel in another way. And this part, the extended high, or I like this word warped. I don't know why, but I like it. The warped high, yeah, the warped high, and the warped wide, and then the 3 circles. Yeah, 1 circle, 2 circles, and where's the third? Yeah, in your Bothmer book in England, you have 2 circles on it, but the name is 3 circle. Yeah, and that's so interesting, and that's the thing I believe we have really to do science, but not science just by making this, but really feel it. And Count Bothmer told us, or told me in one part, just at the beginning of the Bothmer book, you know, these words from man makes space or something like that. Yeah. And I have translated them together with Helena and Casey yesterday. Casey sent it to me. And if you like, I can send it to you, the German original, the English from Olive Witcher, from the book some of you have, and then my questions for many of these qualities of these words. Yeah, I sent in the last week. I sent the question to Jamin for the Bothmer exercise names in English. And 2 days before, he sent it me back, and then I got in a dialogue with Casey and Helena. And so this is in a process. And if you like to take part in this process, you can just send an email to me or to Katie and Susan, and they can get it to me, bring it to me. And because I think we have really to look for the qualities and to express them in a way that reality is something like touched or something like living in these words. Yeah, and that's where I'm looking for with you, maybe you together with some of you for the next 1.5 years, because we have these 100 years of Bothmer Gym. Yeah, 2022, and I hope we have a lot of new translations in English or in Russian and Chinese and Swahili, I hope. Yeah, and I would like to do my work with that. And yesterday I already told you this book. Yeah, this is the first Bothmer book from '59, and there a lot of really nice of these. Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Just come closer.
Yeah, closer. Yeah, you know this. You know, I think from Count Bothmer, the pictures. Yeah, and the other ones, they have a great quality from him. Yeah, and this, I think we really can work with. Yeah, and this is Jessica. Yeah, the photos from Desica, from Elizabeth Desica. Yeah, and that's even the pictures I would like to get to you. Yeah, here, that's first we just did the warped high, he called, something like that. Yeah.
Could it also be the distorted heights?
Yeah, distorted. I have several words for it. It just I don't know the English words very well.
I thought also the growing heights and the growing widths for the eagle and the lion, as we call them.
Yeah. I got them to know from Alheides was growing. Yeah. But I think it's not a good. It doesn't feel very well, this word, because the quality of movement, I think, is something else. Yeah. And this is the verzerrte Weite, the warped wide. Yeah. This is really interesting here. This is this part where you get stuck. Yeah. And you know, the other part isn't really shown here.
And Jan, what would you say we're doing when we're stuck to free ourselves? What words might you use to describe what we're doing when we move ourselves to become unstuck in these movements?
These, for one part, is you can't do anything else, so you are stuck, and you can't go on the way you did before. Yeah, so it's not a possibility. If you are like that, you don't have the possibility to go on. Yeah, you don't have physically. So you have to get a known decision to get out. And these two decisions with the first movement, they are necessary. So the free will is necessary. And the only one who tells it with very short words, that's Count Bothmer. Yeah, we just today spoke about this book from Desica, from Elizabeth Desica. She makes the first decision. She says there's a motive, there's a motivation. Yeah, but she doesn't tell that's no other possibility, and you have to get a decision. And this decision, I think, is really something we have to get through to this quality, because then the ego can be what Casey just said after we moved. This ego can incarnate. Yeah, it's not just incarnation in a like that, but it's an incarnation of really this free will. But the free will is not just in my body, but the free will of human. I discovered a little bit is in the head. Yeah. Here is the free will inside. Here's the free will, something like that. And the lumps, the free will is something like in a world. Yeah. And that's the I just try to tell you the direction. I try to practice and think and develop the movements.
Yeah.
That's what I like to get in dialogue, work together. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like me to read the introduction that you so you spoke earlier about Bothmer's introduction to man determining space, and I've got the English here. Would you like me to read it out?
Can I please read it in German first and then you in English?
Yeah. Is that something that people would like to hear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So Jan, you go when you're ready.
Ja. Der Mensch bestimmt den Raum. Er richtet sich auf und erhebt sein Haupt frei. zur Höhe. Er fällt zur Tiefe. Er stellt sich fest mit beiden Beinen auf die Erde und spannt seine Arme aus zur Breite. Er richtet seinen Blick und Schritt nach einem Ziel, nach vorwärts und durchmisst die Länge. Er findet die Kraft des Widerstandes rückwärts. Er bildet mit den Armen den Umkreis nach. Sie sind die Radien, Strahlen. Seine Schädelform ist Abbild des Umkreises. Der Mensch prägt so den Raum. Erst sein Bewusstsein unterscheidet die Dimensionen und gibt ihnen Wert und Maß. Es ist der Mittelpunkt und umspannt den Umkreis.
Nice. Man determines space. He stands upright and lifts his head freely to the heights. He falls into the depths. He stands firmly with both feet on the earth and spreads out his arms to the widths. He directs his vision and his step forward towards a goal. Thus he measures out the length. He feels the force of resistance backward. With his arms, he traces the encircling round. They are the rays, or radii. The form of his head is a picture of the encircling sphere. Thus, man impresses his stamp upon space. Man's consciousness it is which distinguishes between the dimensions, giving them meaning and measure. His consciousness is the center. It determines direction, and it is woven into the encircling sphere. One thing that I picked up from the German just now, a very strong image, which I feel isn't fully represented in these English words, is the sense of my consciousness and my awareness and ability to move being the center point in my own sphere of space, which is moving with me at all times. And I am always the center point of that space. And to have that in my conscious awareness as I move, that picture really came strongly with Jan when he was sharing the German words. And I wanted to bring that because the English didn't quite do that for me.
Okay. We are now more, have you already over the time? More the time? Casey.
Yeah, I can stay on for a little longer. So anybody that wants to stay, you're welcome, and we can discuss this a little bit more, or share thoughts, or what came up for you. I'd love to hear what people are, how this has awoken or arrived in people. And yes, Tara's asking, she has to go for another session. Can we carry it on next Friday? Next Friday we have Charlie returning, and then Helena, and then Jan. I would very, very much be happy to have another session following on from that. Yeah, definitely we can come back to this.
I'm very happy for Jan to take the session in the week over next, and then I come after that.
Great.
No
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. We can do that.
Okay, thanks. And please.
No, I would ask something. I still didn't get your word for the exercise. The walked or the rubbed with. What's it in German?
I have it. I look to see. Can you see me? Still see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the translation of the word. I don't get the word. I hear
Yeah, I
the
just,
walked with or the walk in German.
in German, it's gestaut.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And gestaute Weite, gestaute Höhe. And
Yeah.
I found pretty some English explanations. It's stowed, it's congested, yeah. It's damped, it's sneered, so it's damped up. And then I think it was Helena who told me it's a word stoppered. Is it right?
Stoppered, yeah.
Stop it.
As in to stop the flow of something.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. But warped in German, I think it's actually verzogen.
Verzerrt.
The word warped. Verzerrt, verzogen. It's it's not stowed. It's not something that that stops. It's more something that gets extended.
Yeah, but gestaut is the one thing, and verzerrt. Bothmer tells verzerrt. Yeah.
Yeah. So verzerrt, from verzerrt, that's where we got the word warped. And gestaut felt like that was a different question you were asking. They didn't seem like they were together.
Yeah, no, it was another thinking about that, because I looked for it, overextended into white, yeah. The growing white, German told me for this wachsende Weite or verzerrte Weite. Yeah, wachsende Weite, I got to know this exercise. Verzerrte Weite is from Bothmer. Growing white is from German. And the line I got from you now these days, and overextended into the white. That's something a little bit else. And my suggestion is something like warped. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think about it.
Helena wants to say.
I have been late this morning, which I really apologize for. But my confusion also yesterday when we were translating, it was very hard to get into a proper exchange there, is that you were looking for the word gestaut. And then I was confused because I thought it's the triangle that was described, the strong triangle, as gestaut. But you are actually, I'm understanding right, you're using the word gestaut for the lion, for the verzerrte Weite.
Yeah, as I practiced it the last days, I felt something like I can't get on, yeah, and it felt like gestaut, and that there I got the something like wrong name, yeah. But we have to work with this. I think verzerrt is a better word, but it's really hard to get this German word to an English word which is really suitable, yeah. And that's the question. And I would like just to work on it, not because I like words, something like that, but I like to get to the quality and what's the best name for this quality.
We're looking for a word that describes the common feeling of like hitting a wall, people might say, you know, it's coming to the end of, or yeah, we're looking for the feeling, aren't we? How do we use words for us all to you know, have the same feeling of what it is we're trying to describe?
Yeah, but my feeling in the last days with this gestaut, yeah, with this compressed, there's something else. And then Bothmer told us this verzerrt. He has another direction of practice. And for me, it feels something like with a baby, yeah, a baby, a fresh born human, and we don't have a name for it. And this birth is every time new if we just do the exercise, because it's so fresh. And then we can get to different words if we really work on it, because there's something, a baby, it's something like the same baby, but it's always a new birth. And that's something like, if one feels that in this quality, it really gets exciting. It really gets something like a necessity, yeah. And that's I would like to get a dialogue in the next days, maybe in the next months, years, yeah. Not just for this exercise, but on a whole development.
For me, something that really lives when we're searching, exploring these words that capture the essence quality of what the experience is. For me, something happens is I switch over to eurythmy and really have the sounds, the sound of the word is as important as the meaning. And I think when I look at it that way, Verzerrt and Gestalt have very different directional qualities when you look at them through eurythmy. And I think that could be really helpful in the way that we look at the description of what we experience, is to draw from some of that that awareness, because Gestalt is very much this kind of ow is coming in and down, and then Verzerrt is this kind of this going out, but also this sort of like I'm separate from, but being kind of pulled out of it, and also the t and the t, they're very like, you know, when you hear a very sharp sound, it's like you kind of sort of the sound just pulls you into that little direction, whereas Verstaut is like, oh, I'm being brought in and down somehow. So yeah, that always springs to mind. When I work with Bothmer, I've always got that kind of eurythmy understanding happening in the back of my mind as well, which is why I was so interested the last couple of days. I was like, Gestalt, what English word has similar sound quality? And that's where I got stoppered. Was like, this kind of similar quality, but it's a bit different because it's got the p, which is very specific.
When we have light and light is broken into a rainbow, what's that word in English?
Refracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the image that just came to me. It's that brokenness is actually creating something new to get inspiration from.
Yeah, and also that word refracted, it's got a little beginning bit, and Verzerrt is actually the same. It's got this kind of like entry bit and then the word Verzerrt. There's something in there which is like something's happening and something new is happening within that quality. Yeah, it's a good word. Refracted that's an interesting one. How that comes in.
When we come up against difficulty, we're looking to transform, aren't we? Maybe you've got a similar sound in there.
Yeah, yeah. Transform. Yeah, because the f is where it goes out into the world. Yeah. Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating to look at these different words and what they conjure up in us.
Yeah, for me, when I do the eagle and the lion, as I'll just quickly call them, just to reference the movement rather than the quality, this infinity line that we have in projective geometry is always very strongly in my mind. So here, if I'm in this position, my awareness is that at this point here, I'm attempting to keep my infinity line, and it's kind of like coming down together like this, and then trying to stay there, and you know, just be so contorted and warped and twisted and not possible, that then the only way out is to then go from that and go out into the width. So that I think that's the quality of what you drew on the blackboard, Jan, in terms of this, the limbs coming in, is this sense of this infinity line, like, yeah, attempting to create. So it's like I'm trying to create the infinity line, but actually what needs to happen is the infinity line creates me in that moment. And it's the same with the lion. When I'm doing this, I had a session once, and I tended to do that, which meant that my arms were going in the horizontal and going down, but my neck was actually going up like this. And what it actually is the arms going down like that and the head going down like that. So it's kind of this, the whole horizontal plane is sort of bending into a sphere or a circle or into a point, which we then have to by ourselves come out of. So those infinity thoughts are very strong in my awareness. So it's nice to have your questions to really spark, well, what is that? Like, even if I've got that picture, what's the feeling, what's the quality, what needs to happen to come out the other side? Where does that, a bit like Charlie with your previous expression session, where's the turning point and what happens in that point to go from one thing to the next? Yeah, to transform.
With one interesting thing you told, this incarnation from outside needs a space to incarnate. And I feel now, as you told, your words, that the space with these, especially with these two exercises, are something like made. Yeah, one part in this is the space. Yeah, here's the space, and one part in this, here's the space. Yeah.
Mm.
And maybe you know the embryonic development. Yeah, the heart from the embryo is here, and then the heart gets down here in the middle. Yeah, and that's really interesting. That the heart gets in the middle, and that's something like an incarnation process as well. Yeah, and I think this whole exercises are something like different steps, different qualities of this incarnation, and at the same time, this way of getting out to the world. Yeah, both, because it works together.
Mm.
When I was in Kassel, Bruno Calicaro had a very nice lecture, and everything was treating about mediastinum, and it's still the name for this part in anatomy nowadays. But the real meaning is in the middle. It shouldn't be narrow, so the middle should be wide. So, and here all the forces come through. So, and we have in German der hat ein großes Herz. And I think there is so many things. This mediastinum, and he always say, Bruno Calicaro always said, ein Kästchen, a box, a little case here. And this little box, this mediastinum, just follows me all these years, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, because there is something about this. And I think we have to widen the mediastinum, and these exercises help us to widen it and to lead from the limbs, to lead the energy through this. And as less ego stuff we have here, the wider we are, so we get a big heart, or ein großes Herz. I mean, a großes Herz is not a person that bring 5 kilos when you weight it, but I mean it's a selfless person, and is a person offering offering this position to the world and to others, open for others, because there is enough space here. And so I think it goes very much with what you said. And what I wanted to say for the exercise name, the growing with, and the gestaute, the stowed with or height. The one is during the exercise, and the growing is the result of the exercise. So, I mean, I come twice to this point that I have to go over, but when I come over that, I grow. So the name of the exercise, the growing with, is correct for me, and it's still the best for me, because it is the result of the exercise. And when you say das gestaute Dreieck, that's really, it's the form of it. And well, that's just my point of view I wanted to share.
Thank you, Anita.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's interesting, the growing. I really sense the difference between the process and the result, or the process and the outcome. And for me, growing, it's something for me to play with as well, because when I think of growing, immediately my first thought is the movement is growing out of me, which doesn't bring in necessarily the infinite quality, or the fact that there's something outside of me that I can relate to as well. The growing width or growing height, in my mind and interpretation, seems to imply that I have to grow, whereas what's really happening when I'm thinking about it, or when I'm moving it, I'm feeling like I've attempted to grow, and I've attempted to go out there into the horizontal, into the world, and into like the activities and the stuff that I want to get done, but then I fall over because I've attempted to, rather than being in harmony, partnership. And then it's that partnership that sort of brings me back, and so then I have grown. But yeah, there's some, yeah, it's interesting. Language is such a can so often be misleading or get in the way, a bit like this space that you were talking about human beings creating that space between what comes in and what then is going out, or how we think about something. So we perceive something in the world like a word, and then it goes into our system, and do we just straight away go, oh, that word doesn't work, or do we have this percolating space inside to be able to experience the quality or the essence of things, rather than the fixed form of things? Yeah, I think it's wonderful to, everybody has such different perspectives, and even the way that we look at things, our eyes see things so differently, and that's just a scientific, like, that is so. Everybody does see color differently, and yeah, we all perceive so differently and experience so differently. So it's wonderful to have these sharings, because otherwise we'd never know. So thank you.
We almost want to do what Michael ended it in one of his books, where he combined 10 words into one. Der sataniarchäologische lügende alkoholische Wunschpunsch.
To be honest, it is
put all the words together, like bootylicious, the word that what's her name, Beyonce coined, where she put things together, and that now is part of a dictionary. We want to put refracted, verzerrt, and growing, and gestaut all into one.
Yeah, my godmother, she has an uncle or a great uncle who coined a lot of medical words, because he was doing scientific research and came and realized that there wasn't a word that could accurately describe what was happening. So he created, for medical conditions, the word spastic and moron, which are of course now like common knowledge and not necessarily medical terms anymore. But she was reminding me, you do all of this work and it's got this kind of new quality and I'm really interested in it, but the language you use switches me off because it brings in all these old concepts or concepts that I then have to sort of drop them to be able to hear what you're saying. And so she was saying, make some new language. Let's create some new words. Let's work with it.
And that's what they've done with the coronavirus. When people are laid off work temporarily, they have invented this new word, furloughed, haven't they? So we
Is
can
that invented?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd never heard it before. But
I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I've never heard it in any context ever before, and now it's the word.
Yeah, exactly. And it becomes part of language so quickly. As soon as everybody knows, oh, that's what it means, or oh, that's the experience I can attach to that, then it works. So maybe that's another element of what we're doing, is not simply working out what the experience is, but then also bringing a new form to the sound of that experience in the world, and therefore creating a word or a language around it.
I think for a long time, I felt like we need to be able to talk about what it is we do, to be able to attract people to our courses, to our classes. You know, you write, I've written stuff and put it up, and then people say to me, but what is Bothmer?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, did you read the piece? You know, let's have some dialogue on the piece and then we'll build on that. But, you know, yeah. But, and so this whole having words that conjure up a feeling that people can relate to, yeah, I mean, ultimately people have just got to have a go at it. and
yeah.
It speaks to them, you know, but I think, you know, if we can talk about what it is we do and inspire people through, you know, or we can connect with people, what it is that's going on in the Bothmer that is so special.
I would like to tell you something I don't know whether you already know. In my Bothmer training with Alheides in German for 3 years in Stuttgart, there was an American girl in my course. And after more or less 2.5 years, she asked Mrs. Bothmer, what is it, what we do here? Yeah, like the people to you. After 2.5 years, daily work, all day study. Yeah?
Full-time course.
Yeah, and then Miss Bothmer told us it's a walk through desert. Yeah. So that was her way to deal with it. She didn't go up with words. And I really thought about this word, and I could really see that she did it with us, and the quality we got too. But I think now we have to make further steps on. I think it's good to go this way without speaking.
Yeah.
But I think for the future of Bothmer, we have to be able, or we even to practice to think what we do. And that's what Katie, I think you told me yesterday with these Olive Richards Sonnenraum, yeah, with the sun space, with the book, and with the projective geometry. Yeah, and George Adams did a lot of work in this, in English and German. And I think we really have to learn not do just Bothmer physically. That's a long, I think we have to make hundreds of years to get really to these exercises in reality. But we also have to intend or to practice thinking what we are doing. And that's much more difficult. Yeah. In my study, I tried it, and I did very, very small steps, even tiny steps in relationship to the physical steps. And it took much more energy for me to do an exercise with projective geometry and really to think it, the exercise, instead of doing it with my body.
Ah, okay, danke.
The interesting thing is if
Jetzt
I
bin ich
think
kurz
it,
ruhig.
if I can think it or even try to think one exercise, I didn't get to one, just 2 parts. But if I try to think one exercise, then I really have all in light. I don't have the total reality, but what I normally do with my physical body, I just can feel a little bit. But you don't have your free will in total light. And that's very interesting. If you really want to do science, then you have to be able further on in future to think it. Yeah? And I think we have to found the Bothmer gym as one direction, also in this quality of science. Yeah, that can stand Bothmer gym in 200 years, I think, 200, 400 years, that there is a standing point where Bothmer gym can really stand with in the normal science. Yeah, it takes long time, and now I think we can just do small steps and begin to go this way. That's my impression. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
it's been lovely to discuss this, and we've done some small steps, and thank you very much, Jan.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Cool.
Have a
Thank you
lovely
so
day.
much for sharing and discussing.
Yeah.
And see you again next week.
See you.
Thanks,
Bye.
yeah. Bye.
Bye. Bye.